Yo guys, what is up? Welcome back to the new video. I'm the Casual Racing Gamer, and today we are going to be talking about frustrations. Frustrations about racing in GT7 Online, as well as other sim racing games as well, because it carries over to everything. So we're gonna, let me first tell you what sparked this video, and by the end of this video, I am hoping that I can help a lot of you guys out there think about sim racing differently, that you can make some bad situations better, how to avoid things, and just the whole thought process of how I actually approach this, that makes me, makes it enjoyable no matter how bad things can be. The race that we're going to be watching now, I picked this race because I get clipped, I get taken out. Not a good race. I make some bad moves as well. So I thought this was a really good race to watch as we go through this discussion. So the thing that really sparked this video, and there's so many comments based on this, so this was just the video that really just put me over and said, I'm gonna put a video out on this. But you will, and probably a lot of you guys are probably thinking the same thing as this comment that I received. And what it said was, for me, the fun is almost over playing GT7. I lost my B status to C just because I try to drive clean, but there are so many dirty drivers that it's impossible to drive a normal race. I'm sick of it. Just want to know what you guys think of this. Now, I'm going to give you my opinion. Some things you might agree with, some things you might not. I would definitely want your opinions as well. So leave it down in the comments. If you agree with stuff I say, if you don't agree, if you have your own outlook on things, I always love hearing what everyone has to say. But first of all, let's start with this. At the highest level of driving, professional drivers, the best in the world, and I'm not talking about sim racing, I'm talking about regular professional drivers who drive cars for a living. These guys make mistakes. These guys wreck all the time. They wreck each other on purpose. So, there is always things happening. There are always people wrecking. Now, that is professional drivers, right? The best in the world. We are talking about a video game here, guys. This is a video game. This is GT7. This is actually on a console. The thing with console racing is you have so many different variations of different level of drivers and players. You have so many people that are probably playing on a controller in GT7. In other sim racing games on like PC, you're probably not going to get that many controller players, and most of them are going to be on sim rigs. Yes, there are players that will be on controllers. Even like iRacing supports controllers. So, but GT7 is a console game. Everyone has a controller. That's what everyone has. GT7 might have pushed people to buy sim rigs. PSVR 2 might have pushed people to buy sim rigs, but you have to think about that and take that into consideration. And as we're watching right here, you can see my back end get clipped right here, right? So that was a little bit aggressive driving. I was coming on the outside. I had to come in. I had nowhere to go, and I got clipped on the end. Was it on purpose? Probably not. Could he have actually backed off and give me room to come in? He probably could have. I didn't have much places to go there. But it's a racing incident. It's going to happen, and we're going to get deep into this now. So, like I'm saying, first thing, consideration, controllers, wheels, a lot of different level of drivers. Even if you're like a C or a D or a B or an A, even at A-level drivers, you watch A-plus drivers, these guys are still wrecking. They're still making mistakes. They're still missing brake markers. It's going to happen. There will be wrecks. You will wreck people. I know everyone out there, you think you drive clean. I drive clean. I am an extremely clean driver. I never intentionally wreck somebody. Even if somebody wrecks me, I will never intentionally go back and wreck them. But I will tell you, I have wrecked many people in GT7. I have wrecked many people in iRacing. It is not on purpose. It is by accident. I don't mean to wreck someone. I am not a professional driver. You guys are not professional drivers. Most of the people playing GT7 are not professional drivers. If they are professional drivers, they still wreck. They still hit people. They still have bad moves. So you really have to establish, is it something that was intentionally done and someone's just trying to ram you off the road because you're on a straight? And you will definitely face those players. Why? Because you have a lot of kids playing this game, right? You have a lot of kids playing GT7. It is a console game. So there will be a lot of different age ranges playing this game. So you might be in your 20s, in your 30s, or your 40s. You might be playing with an 11-year-old kid who thinks it's funny to just ram someone off the road. You have to accept that. It's not going to happen in all races. As you move up the ladder, as you get to a better safety rating, as your driver ratings improve, yes, you'll get better races. You probably won't see as many people intentionally wrecking you, because that 12-year-old or 10-year-old kid who thinks it's funny to wreck someone is probably not going to reach like a B or an A and an S status. So that's one thing to take into consideration. Now, racing in this, take your driver ratings and throw it out the door. So if you drop from a B to a C to a D, it doesn't matter. Who cares? Who cares? So you're back. You know what? You look at it on a positive way. If you drop to a C and you were like a B rating driver, you drop to a C, you should actually start having better finishes. You should start actually winning more, because you're racing against less qualified drivers at the lower you drop down. So get some wins. Get some wins if you drop down. No one's looking at you and looking at you in a different way because you're a C driver. You know, that's just your own pride and just what you want to feel for yourself. But it has no effect on the actual game. It doesn't matter. It just move on. Move on. Don't worry about your driver rating. If you were doing iRacing is a whole nother ball game. In GT7, you know, no matter what your driver rating is, no matter what your safety rating is, you always will be racing the same race as drivers that are A+, right? You guys do the same races. B, C, D, it's the same race. You can qualify and get into any one of those races. It doesn't matter. With iRacing, if your license goes down, you can only race certain races within that license and lower. You can't race anything higher. Different licenses also have different races. So if you're like a B license and you know there's races for A license, you can't race those if you're a B. So dropping down in that is a much bigger difference. And look at this terrible move here. I missed my brake marker. I came in here and luckily I didn't take out the other car. He actually was able to stay on the track, but I felt so bad there. I just missed my brake marker. I just went in. I went in too deep. I wasn't even looking to make a pass there. I was actually just settling in behind. And if you see a lot of my videos, I usually never try to do an overtake on a chicane. Like that's not something I ever try to do. I always take it really cautious on a chicane and don't try to overdrive it and don't try to overtake someone there. I usually just fall in behind. And if we're going in like head to head, I'll usually slow down and let the other car go. So there it is, basic mistake. I'm a clean driver. I'm not looking to wreck anyone. Everybody makes mistakes. You know, that driver someone might have made mistakes in him 10 times in the last 10 races. So, you know, he's probably really annoyed, but things happen. You just need to move on. Again, the best races make mistakes. The worst races make mistakes. There will be people out there that, yes, they will intentionally wreck you. But let's talk about how we can avoid these things. Because, and you know, a lot of people, and I see this so often in a lot of forums, especially in like iRacing forums and things like that. There's always people that say, you know, there'll always be a comment that says, oh, I can't drive. Everyone always wrecks me. I get into so many wrecks. I can't move up. And you always have these other people commenting, well, oh, and it's never their fault, right? I'm a clean racer. It's never my fault. And I just can't move up. And you always have someone saying it's probably 99% your fault. Every wreck is probably your fault and could be avoided. Now, I will straight up say that is not true. That is not true. 100% not true. I do not believe that you can avoid every wreck. There will be so many wrecks that you can't avoid, but we can do our best to try to avoid getting into wrecks. That's the thing. How can we avoid getting into wrecks? How can we avoid dirty drivers? So the way I usually approach a race is if I see 4 or 5 cars driving really, really close together, I'm not going to get into that mess of cars. I'm going to stay back a little bit. I'm going to stay close enough where if there's mistakes made within those 4 or 5 cars, I'm going to be able to take advantage, but I'm not going to put myself in that mess. I'm going to try to avoid that mess in case something happens. So there's a lot of defensive driving to avoid getting into wrecks. But again, I will never agree and say all wrecks, you can avoid all wrecks. That is something that I do not believe, and I think it's an actual false statement that no one should believe that you can avoid all wrecks. If I take a car and I want to wreck someone and I just go straight at them, I'm going to hit them, right? I'm going to hit them. They're not going to avoid me. I can go at them any way I want. If someone's intentionally out there to get you or wreck people, you're not going to avoid it. So we're talking about how can we avoid wrecks from clean drivers that are also driving that sometimes we get, you know, mixed up in. And another thing is, you know, I approach racing as the same way as I approach just driving a regular car. If you're on a highway, if someone's driving really fast, you know, the faster they drive, the more you want to be a little further back from them in case they break short. You know, like so if they slam on their brakes, you want to have enough time that you can slam on your brakes. Everyone's going to have a different brake marker. So how do you avoid ramming someone? Or so we'll talk about being behind someone, and then we'll talk about being in front of someone. So if we're in back of someone, just pull back a little bit. You don't always need to be on someone's tail. If you're driving down a straight and you're doing like 180, then, you know, to brake at that same time correctly with someone else in front of you, for those two things to line up, it's like insane. So you want to pull back a little bit. Don't always worry about making a pass. Don't always worry about making a move. If you're fast enough, you will pass cars when you need to pass cars on easy places. If you're driving in a straight and you still have a lot to go, sure, make your move there. But if you're coming towards the end of the straight and you haven't been able to establish a good line in front of that other car, you're going to make the pass, just pull back a little bit. Brake a little early. Give it a breather. I always say one spot is not worth wrecking your own car. You just pull back. You'll make your move. You'll have your chance. You also have to know how many cars are behind you. So if there's a car, you know, you're driving, there's a car in front of you, you're driving like right here. There's 3 cars behind you. You're gonna get hit from behind. When this car stops, unless you stop exactly at the same time as he does, with the same exact brake pressure to make everything align perfectly, the car behind you is going to wreck you. If they're driving just as close to you as you're driving to the car in front of you, you're going to get hit. You're going to get hit. It doesn't matter how clean of a driver somebody is or how good of a driver somebody is. You're all just going to hit each other. So if you're driving so close to the car in front of you, but you see you have a lot of cars behind you, start slowing down. Start slowly braking. Give the car in front of you a lot more room where you don't need to slam on your brake, because the cars behind you are going to be slamming on the brakes. So the more you slow down and give them the opportunity for them to brake, because everyone has a different braking zone. So if you start slowing down, they'll start slowing down and you'll be able to get into that braking zone a little bit better without getting wrecked from behind. So this is a way to avoid getting wrecked from cars from behind you, and also avoid hitting cars in front of you. It's kind of like a defensive and offensive move. These are things that I feel like are very important to help establish a cleaner race. It's not that you're a dirty driver. It's not that the guy behind you is a dirty driver. Things are just going to happen. There are a lot of clean drivers that just make mistakes, or just they're unavoidable. If you're driving 180 miles per hour with the car in front of you and there's only 1 foot between you and the car in front of you, one of these turns, one of these braking zones, you're going to hit them. Same thing with the car behind you. They're going to hit you. You're going to get hit. You just need to suck it up and move on. Like you just need to just move on. Like, don't worry about it. Also, if you wreck out of a race, don't quit the race. If like this race, for example, I started up P3, I'm back to P14. And it doesn't matter. I'm still going to finish the race, because the more you drive safe, the more turns that you get safely, it's going to still help you with your rating. And just like you got taken out and I like bounced me back to 14th because of some bad moves that I made, some little spots that I might have been hit, that can happen to other cars within this race as well, that you can still move up spots. Every spot will be 1 spot better than where you are. So if I'm in 14th, if I finish 13th, I'm better than quitting now. If I finish 14th, oh well, I finished 14th. It doesn't matter. So, you know, P12 might get taken out and he doesn't want to race anymore and he might just sign off. So he's now out of the race. So that moves you up another spot. Every spot is always something better for you. Do not settle for quitting, even if it's on the first lap of a 10-lap race or a 15-lap race. Finish the race, go on. It will still help with your safety rating because you're still running all those laps safe. And you should be able to run it a little safer because there's no other cars around you. So that's a good time to take advantage. It's also good practice. It's good lap practice. Just running laps, stay clean. You know, see within a race how good your lap times can be. Do not quit out of a race. That's one thing I never suggest, is don't rage quit. You definitely don't want to rage quit. But those are my thoughts on it. You know, it's all about defensive driving, offensive driving. Don't think everybody's dirty. Don't think everyone wants to get you. The only way you're gonna be able to avoid a lot of wrecks is it's gonna be how aggressive you drive or how defensively you drive. If you're gonna be an aggressive driver, And you know, let's actually take a little step back now, because this brings up another thing. If you're going to be a cautious driver, cautious driving is also dangerous. It's not going to make you a safer driver to be cautious. Now, I drive cautiously, but I drive cautiously based on what's going on around me. If like I'm in a good spot and I don't have cars that I know that I can affect their race, I might take things a little more cautiously depending on the situation. You know, you always want to be in a situational awareness of what's going on around you, what's going on in the race, and how aggressive or how good you want to be, and where you actually think you can finish the race. If you're in P10 and you know all these cars are a lot faster than you, and you're not gonna move up to P1. You're not gonna win the race. So you need to be situationally aware of everything that's going on in your race, the other drivers, how well they drive, because you don't want to drive crazy. If you're on P10, you're not gonna go to P1. You just want to ease up. How many places can you move up is the question. How aggressive you want to be. But if you're gonna drive very cautiously, so you always want to make sure on a track you know the correct lines. You kind of know where the braking point should be within a range. So if you're going to drive a little cautious and you don't know where those braking markers are to brake successful at a high speed, what's going to happen is cars behind you who do know the correct racing line, who do have an idea of where the braking markers should be, they're gonna hit you. They're gonna wreck you, and that's just something that's going to happen. So driving too cautiously and not knowing the course, and not really pushing. Like I never want to say drive the car to the limit, because everyone's limit's going to be different, and that's quite obvious. So saying drive the car to the limit to me, or I say to someone faster than me, or if I say to someone slower to me, it's driving the car to your limit. But you also need to consider who's behind you. If your limit has you braking, for example, here at the 150, most people are braking closer to the 100. If you brake at the 150 for that chicane, if there's a car close to you, you're probably going to get hit. You're going to get hit. You're a clean driver. Someone's going to hit you from behind. They're a clean driver too, but they're not expecting someone to brake at the 150. So it's really important to know where the correct braking spots are. If there's a car behind you and he's really close and you want to be cautious and you don't run aggressive, you know, maybe pull off a little bit. Let the car go around you. If he's really close to you, just pull over. Just basically pull over to the side a little bit. Don't brake. Don't hit your brakes. Don't just brake. You know, keep your speed. Start pulling over, and then slowly ease up on your gas where he can just stay in his driving line and just take it. Now the thing with GT7 now, with iRacing, you can actually map certain things to your buttons on your wheel. So if you're driving, someone's behind you, you can actually hit a button that says pass left, pass left. So it gives them like it's letting them know. So you can basically communicate. You can say hit a button and it'll show pass right. So you're letting them know, yo, I'm not going to battle you here. You got the speed. Just pass me. I'm not going to knock you. I'm not going to knock you off. Like someone's not going to say pass left and then knock you off. They're telling you, you know, you go and where to go to be safe, because you guys don't want to. He doesn't want to, you know, go around you, and then you're going to be like, oh, I'm going to let him go around me, and then you also go to the left, and then you both wreck. So that's a good thing in iRacing, and that's not something that you can do in GT7. So you can't tell someone to pass left. Now I think I've seen people use, and I don't know because I've never done it, but I've actually seen someone flash flash their back like light, their turning signal, and flash like a left. I was really running close to them, and I don't know the etiquette for GT7, but I was like, oh, maybe he's telling me to pass left by showing me his left turn signal, telling me to pass left. I don't know if it was an accident, if it was just the game doing something automatically, or if people actually do that in GT7. So that might be something you know, and other people can comment on that down in the comments if that's something that people actually do and they actually use their turning signals. I don't have my turning signals mapped to anything on my wheel, but if people actually do follow that rule and people know what it means to do things like that, that might be something useful to use to tell other people to go around me. So, you know, there's a lot of things that you can do to avoid getting into wrecks And again, do not worry about your driver rating. Don't even worry about your safety rating. Just drive safe, drive good. Don't drive too cautiously that it'll just ruin you anyway. Just drive to your limit, pull back a little bit so you don't overdrive to the actual limit. Usually when you drive in that limit, you're driving on the edge. So you pull back a little bit. Don't drive too safe though. Don't drive too aggressive. Pick your battles. If there's cars in front of you battling, pull back. Don't get too close to that. You know, just ease up. Don't worry about losing spots. Don't worry about other cars possibly catching you and passing you. You don't want to get into a mix-up of a bunch of cars battling in front of you. Something's going to happen. Someone's going to wreck. Someone's going to be too aggressive in there, go off the track, and you just need to be there to take advantage of it. So I usually settle back when I see that. I don't get into a mix of a lot of cars if I have room behind me. Now, if I'm in the middle of a pack of cars, then you just got to do what you got to do to survive. But if it's happening in front of you, I usually do not get into that mix. If I'm in the back of it, you're gonna take it the worst. If there's a wreck in front of you, of course in GT7, you know, cars ghost, so things are good. You can go through cars. If cars spins out and he's in the middle of the road, he's gonna ghost. You go through him. Other sim racing games, that doesn't happen. You hit that car in front of you and your game's over. You need to go to the pits and you need to fix your car, and it can be like a 35-minute repair, and the race is only like 10 minutes left. So. That's my opinion. Hopefully you guys, you know, think about this stuff a little bit differently. You know, don't stress out over it. Don't stress out of your driver rating. Don't stress out over your safety rating. Just drive, have fun. It's a game. There's a whole level of different players in the game, and you just have to accept it. Move on. Don't let it ruin your night. Don't go to bed thinking like, oh my goodness, my driver rating went from a B to a C to a low C. It's just a game. You'll bounce back. Take advantage of it. You drop down to a C. Try to win some races when you drop down to a C. You know, as you go down, as you go up, races are going to be harder. You're going to be driving with better drivers. You're going to be driving with more aggressive drivers. You go down, take advantage of it. You should be able to race better than if you were a middle B and you drop to a C. You know, get some wins when you're at the C. You know, work up those stats. The wins are great. So you know, the easier those wins can come, the better for you. As you move up, they're just going to be harder to get. So hopefully that helps you guys out a little bit. That was just my opinion of it. And you know, like I said, you know, this comment just really sparked it. But it's something I see all the time, and it's not just GT7. You know, iRacing is a subscription-based service, so you probably don't have that many little kids playing the game. But you know what? Us adults, us adults race dirty too. Now I'm not saying me, but I'm saying adults in general. They race dirty. People are very competitive. So it's not just kids. People wreck in iRacing. You will see people totally wreck purposely in iRacing. They will wreck you. There's so many accidents. There's so many wrecks. There's so many dirty racers. There's so many dirty drivers. It's not just GT7. It's technically, it's really it's every sim racing game. We're not professional drivers. Everyone is just there for fun. There's a lot of wrecks not on purpose. We're playing a game, guys. We're playing a game. It's going to happen. We're not all pro drivers. Everyone drives differently. Everyone's level is different. Even if you're racing with people at the same level, technically with the game stats, it's so different. So you just need to not let it get to you. You know, bad race out of mind, out of your head. Go on. The professional drivers that have bad races and wreck each other all day long, except they're actually in danger for actually hurting themselves and damaging $1 million cars. So luckily, we just get to join next race, and we do it all over again. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Thumb it up if you did. Let me know your comments down below. Any tips, tricks for stuff like this, or just the way you guys think about it. If you agree with me, you know, they're perfect. If you don't agree with me, that's perfect too. You can totally tell me of things you don't agree with. I'm open to anything you guys have to say. So definitely subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And we're going to catch you on the next one. We out of here, guys. Peace.